want to make a few announcements again for those who weren't here before the Northern Illinois press conference of some things that we want to make sure that you know. orangebowl.org/press box is where you can go to get all your Orange Bowl information. You should also be getting a daily email from the Orange Bowl with the schedule for the day. The credential and the media workroom are open on the 3rd floor, directly up the escalators here, just outside these rooms. The Orange Bowl media party with dinner for New Year's Eve is tonight, starting at 8 o'clock. It's a legendary casino night. You don't want to miss that. There'll be a brunch tomorrow morning at 10 a.m., also on the 3rd floor at the top of the escalator, so we hope you'll join us there. The coaches' luncheon today is at 11:30 at Jungle Island. If you need directions there, you can get that in the media workroom in the credential office. There's no specific media availability, but there are risers in the back of the room for still and video cameras if you want to get some coverage of that event. We do want to recognize some of the Orange Bowl committee members who have joined us today. Tim Bailey, the head of our media committee, is here. Mark Doucette, Vicki Matthews, Tim Battles, Tom Pennycamp, Sean Pittman has joined us, escorting Florida State's head coach. We also have the president of the Orange Bowl committee, Ford Gibson, who is over there. Thank you very much. And CEO Eric Palms joined us this morning for the press conference as well. So we appreciate you all joining us this morning. Lastly, we will have John Steinbrecher, the Mid-American Conference Commissioner, stick around after Coach Fisher's press conference to answer any media questions that you all may have for him. So we will do that immediately following the press conference here. And Bill Hancock, the CEO of the BCS, has joined us as well. So with all that out of the way, Coach, if you'd like to make your way onto the stage and take your seat at the table, we will have you all flag down our microphone holders, Roberta and Kristen, and you can ask your questions there. But I will start, and Coach, you know, you're one day away from playing in the Discover Orange Bowl. What preparations, if any, are left for you or your team?
Well, there's a lot of preparations. I think the last 48 hours are extremely important because it becomes mental preparation. And, you know, you're putting yourself in the frame of mind to go play a football game. All the other festivities have been great. You've practiced, but now it's time to realize what the purpose, why you're here. There's a reason you're here. All the things that have happened to you during the week because we have a game at the end of the week. And we have to prepare for that, and we have to mentally get yourself ready to prepare for a game against a great opponent who's going to play very hard, and you're going to have to play very hard. And we have to put all the other things away. It's time for, you know, everybody else to enjoy the game. As far as the festivities and all that, we have to go play the game. And there's a lot of mental preparation in the last 48 hours I think is extremely important.
Okay, we'll open it up right in the middle of the section on your right.
Yes, sir.
Jimbo, Tim Reynolds with the AP. Welcome back to Miami.
Glad to be here.
There seems to be a trend in some of these BCS games that there's a fair amount of trickeration by one side or the other. How much, when you've got a month between games, obviously you got a lot of time to think and a lot of time to plan. How much can coaches kind of outsmart themselves and outpsych themselves thinking of all that extra stuff that we might not ordinarily see?
You can do it a lot because you start seeing tons of things, and then you start getting all fancy and you start doing things. I mean, you have to make changes, and you make subtle changes to what you do, but the game's going to get down to execution. You got to be able to execute what you do. And I've always said this, I tell our players, good teams, you always get frustrated with the teams that have always won championships that I've ever been associated with, whether it was Pop Warner, high school, college, pro, whatever it is. They do what they do, and you know what's coming. All of a sudden, okay, I know this play. Well, they execute it and beat you anyway. You know, the good teams can still do that. You have to have your bells and whistles, and you change things up. But it gets back to a game of execution, and that's what happens. The time, coaches think, well, I got all this time, so I got to do something different. I got to do this. I got to do that. And that's great for fans and everybody else, and it's fun. But in the end of the game, sound, fundamental football is what's going to win the football game.
Stay on your right on the inside aisle, second row.
Coach, I'm sure you've gotten to visit with Coach Carey a little bit. Can you imagine going from offensive line coach in August to head coach at this magnitude of game now? I mean, just talk about, you know.
Well, I think it is. I think it is a lot on him. But I actually said this, and I believe this. I think it's going to be tougher next year than it is right now because you're already set in your routine of how you do things. I mean, they know how they're going to do things. They have the same staff. They have the same people. You know what the kids can do. I think next year, as far as from a head coaching point, I think an organizational standpoint, it'll be hard. Not harder, but there's a lot more work to do because now you put your stamp on the program. This one here, they'll kind of run status quo and do the things that they do, and they know what everyone knows what the roles are. Everyone knows everything. Next year, I think will even be more of a transition because they have to reinvent those roles and tell everybody what they're doing into different groups. So I think, but it is a lot to put on him. I think he's done a great job. Of meeting him the few times I've been very impressed. I think he's a great guy and developing a good friendship. I really enjoy being around him.
Stay on your right side on the inside aisle a few rows back.
Jimbo, Pete Thamel from Sports Illustrated. A little bit of a macro question here about your program. How important has this game and making a BCS game been in your step towards building a program that can compete for the national title? And when you look forward in your tenure, what do you feel like you've built in terms of depth, recruiting, et cetera, that make you feel like you're on the right plane to go? That's
a great question. I mean, this is the first time we've been to a BCS bowl game in 7 years. First time we won 11 games in 12 years, and a chance to win 12 this year to match. It's only been done 2 times in school history. I mean, we have came a long way in a short period of time. I mean, and am I disappointed in our seasons? No, I'm very excited about what we've done and how we've won a championship. Am I satisfied? No, you're never satisfied till you win a national championship. But those things are hard to win. You have to keep progressing. But we've laid a great foundation with our recruiting base. We've had great classes. I think we'll have another great class this year. And to me, it's one of the steps that I said this. A year ago, we had high expectations. We had some key injuries. And I knew if we had key injuries at the right spots, we were going to be in trouble because the young guys behind them weren't quite ready to do the things they needed to do. You know what I mean? But right now, we've lost a first-round draft pick in Brandon Jenkins. We just lost another first-round pick in Tank Carradine and probably a second-round draft pick in Chris Thompson, and we're still winning football games. And to me, that's the difference of being a good team and being a good program. I think we're evolving into the program stage of what we want to be. That's where we're at, what we want to do. And I think we have our best teams, I think, can still be ahead of us. And we keep winning 11, 12 games, we'll get to play next week one time. And the ball bounce right, and we stay healthy at the right moments, make the right calls, guys make the right plays. I'm extremely happy where we're at. In 3 years, we've came a long way from a 6-6 football team. And by no means are you ever satisfied till you reach the mountaintop. But you keep winning conference championships and playing in BCS games and doing those kind of things, good things are going to happen to you. And I think we've taken a lot of steps in the right direction.
We'll go on your left, 4 rows back.
Jimbo, Steve Nitz, DeKalb Daily Chronicle. Steve Nitz, DeKalb Daily Chronicle. You took over for Bobby Bowden. Everyone knows what he's accomplished. What's the pressure been like taking over for a guy like that, and does your first BCS win relieve some of that pressure? I
don't know. There's always pressure. Our world today is, what have you done for me lately? You know what I mean? And that's just the nature of the beast. And you're at high-profile programs. That's part that goes with the territory, and you want to win them all. But Coach Bowden was a legend. Coach Bowden's a one-of-a-kind guy. You don't replace Coach Bowden. I have to be Jimbo Fisher, move on, and do the things we do. And we've done some great things. And some people we do them a little different. But our philosophies and beliefs are very similar, believe that or not. A lot of my core values came from Coach Bowden many years ago. The way you do business has to change yearly. You don't do business, companies don't do business the way they did 10 years ago, 5 years, even 2 years ago. We have to evolve with the times of how we do things. But, winning a BCS game is a huge step for our program, and being in a BCS game is a huge step for our program because it means we become champions. And it's the first time they can say that at Florida State in a long time.
We're on your right-hand side, 3 rows back.
Coach Fisher, David Neal, Miami Herald. At what point in the process after the selection do you think your kids became convinced, if they are, that NIU is a very good team?
As soon as they turn the film on. When you turn the film on, you see a very good football team. You see a team that can make plays on offense. They can run it. The quarterback is dynamic. They can throw it. They're very good on special teams. They play great defense. They can intercept the ball. They play great run defense. And when you watch the film, you watch guys flying around very well coached. I mean, the discipline of what they see every day. When you turn the film on, players know who can play. Players know who can play, and they've won 21 to 22 football games. So, I think it was instantaneous. I really do.
We're on the second row right in front of you on your right.
To follow that a little bit, there's such a perception that your team is going to win this game. Mm-hmm. Does that put a burden on your guys to deliver?
I don't think it's a burden. It's part of the game. In every game, somebody's supposed to win, somebody's supposed to. That's why athletics is so great. It's not a movie. You don't get to do a retake. It's not scripted. That's why we love athletics. We like the unexpected. We don't know what the outcomes are. We don't know what's going to be expected. That's why everybody has such a passion for athletics, because you're waiting to see what the true outcome is. And I think that's one of the things that makes athletics very unique. And we have to play and do what we do. That's all we can do. Play as hard as we can play as well as we can play, and do what Florida State does on offense, on defense, on special teams. And NIU is going to have a huge effect on us. They're a great football team, but they're going to do what they do. We got to do what we do, and then we go on.
We're going to go all the way to the right, down in the front row.
Craig Barnes here.
Hey, Craig.
from a football, just from a game standpoint, are you better off to get in a shootout with these guys, or are you better to hold the football and keep their offense off the field?
Well, I mean, we say that, they've averaged 38 points a game, 39, 40 points a game. Well, we do too. See, we know we average 7 yards a play. It's only one of 3 teams in Florida. 93 team average 7 yards a play. The 99 team 7.1, and this team 7 yards a play. We've been dynamic on offense too. And since 93, only 3 teams have averaged more points per game than we have. So we feel we're pretty dynamic on offense too. So we don't mind being out there on the field making plays on offense and doing the things we do. There's only 2 teams in school history that have ran for 2,500 and thrown for 3,000. We're one of them. I mean, so as far as that go, we have a great defense, and we do, but we have a very good offense too. So we think we can go score our points, and I think when you put points on people, it puts pressure on people. So if we can go score points, and we don't mind being on the field, or we don't mind putting our defense on the field. So I think either way, if it gets to be a low, we've proven we can win low-scoring games, and we've proven in the Clemson game we can win shootouts. So, we feel confident both ways.
Coach, Fred Mitchell from the Chicago Tribune. Having said that, are there any early indicators that you look at to see that things are going the way you want them to go, whether it's the line play or something?
Well, I think the rhythm you get into. Offense is a thing that goes into rhythm. Just like, both their offense and our offense, when you're on offense, I think, you try to get that rhythm. And when your kids come off, how they're responding, what they're looking at, the look they have in their eye, and how they feel. Even if they make a mistake, okay, I see it, Coach. I know what I got to do. I can fix it. You know what I mean? It's not something dynamic. But, that's the thing. You got to get yourself calm. You got to get yourself relaxed after the first few jitters and the first hit or two and get in a good rhythm early and then try to play. But you can generally tell when those kids come off the field where they're at. You really can when you just look in their eye and the body language.
On your right in the middle of the section.
Jimbo, forgetting what it means to your kids and your program, what did it mean to you personally that DJ wanted to stick around and obviously wear a lot of hats these last couple of weeks?
He's done that all year. DJ's been a guy who's helped tremendously in the background of we knew DJ was going to be a coordinator, you know what I mean, and what he's did. Him and Eddie coming back and helping, even Mark coming back. I mean, I think that they liked what we did at the program. They're very sound with what we did, and a lot of those guys are going to carry on a lot of the things we did in our program into their program. And I think they have a great love for what we've done here as a staff. Our staff was close, and then we also had a good, they feel good for our kids. They want to see our kids finish this season and have a great experience. And I think it speaks to the character of those guys, that they want to be able to come back and not be, that they went and did their jobs and then be able to come back. Very good. I mean, it was everybody, I had a lot of more experienced guys that came and interviewed and did a great job. And when I interviewed him, I actually stopped the interview about halfway through, and he was nervous. I said, well, don't be nervous. You got the job. And, it's just, I can tell, I just have it's the way I like to do things. I mean, when I talk to somebody, if they have the same beliefs I do, look at things the way I do, feel that they fit within our system and our realm, and I think DJ's a bright star in this business. I really do.
Coach Scott Kodak, Seminoles.com. A lot of focus, obviously, on your offense and on your defense, but your kicker's pretty special.
Yes.
Can you kind of talk about just a little bit about his legacy? I mean, just what he brings to your program. It's not just he does something on the field. He's a kind of that all-around student.
He's a complete person, and I mean, he's all-time kick leading scorer in NCAA history. He's already graduating communications, about a 3.9. He's working on it. He'll finish up this spring on his master's degree. But I like to tell a story real quick about him that I always say all the time. You never know as an athlete how you affect people. Well, my son Trey hangs with our football team, leads us on the field every week, hangs with our players, thinks he is. And people ask me, say, aren't you scared of him to be around those players? Maybe some of the things they might say, or they're immature, or they're around him. And I said no, because they do it very well. But we were sitting at home, and we have chapel, on game day, every game day. And Trey was sitting at the house with Candy and I, and he said, Mom, can I take my Bible with the team? And he said, why? She said, well, I want to take it to chapel. She said, wow, that's great. What made you think of that? She said, Dustin brings his Bible every day, and he reads out of it, and I would like to be able to read when Clint goes through the scriptures and be able to do that. And, you think about everybody thinks about the bad things that come about it. My son, who's 11, wants to take his Bible to our team when he's out there playing ball, running with the players, so he can have it during chapel when Clint does, our chapel, and be able to read it. Now, if that's not an influence on people, when you talk about a person as an athlete, him as a student, and then him as an individual, and what he is, and he's such a great Christian and man of God, and the influence he can have on little kids, I mean, to me, that speaks volumes of Dustin and what he stands for.
We'll go here on the left on the inside aisle.
Coach Jason Hurst, WCTV out of Tallahassee. Coach, you talk about the numbers and the history. But it sounds like there's a lot of emotional pride with this team. How attached are you to this team and the players?
This team is a very unique team, and I think some of y'all saw it yesterday when we went to the hospital. I mean, they asked for a certain number of volunteers. Our bus got full, and we had to turn it away for the number of kids that wanted to come to the hospital to see the young kids. I think we had 40-some guys go. I mean, they asked for 15, 20, or 25, and we had to turn guys away because the bus was full. It's all we could hold on the bus. I don't know if this team is one of the most unique teams I've been around as far as what they've overcome. I think the attachment comes from the seniors, from watching a 6-6 team that struggled to get in a bowl game, to keep the bowl streak alive when we had to win those games when he was a redshirt freshman and come in and play, when Ponder got hurt, to keep the 30-some game consecutive bowl streak alive. And what they've achieved and overcome as they fought through expectations and fans and people saying, well, you're never going to get there, you can't be there, you can't do this. Those guys just believed in each other. They never turned on each other. When everyone doubted them, they just kept staying together, and they won the first championship and how they did it and the legacy in which this senior class is leaving. And then I think what they have done is shown the other groups of guys on that team what it's like to be family and how to trust in each other and loving each other and believe in each other when other people don't always do that. And that's very important today because of the way the structure of athletics are, because it's always, you never do enough. And that's the business. That's what we are. But I think as grown-ups you handle it, but as kids, it leaves a lasting impression on you. I heard Sammy Smith say something yesterday at the FCA breakfast. It really hit me. Is that, he said he got drafted here in Miami, the 9th pick of the draft. Right out of high school, was a great player. Maybe his talented tailback to ever play at Florida State. Probably the most talented. And he got a call to come do the FCA breakfast, okay? And he talked about, all of a sudden, he had bad feeling. His stomach just got knots because he didn't have a good experience in Miami. He didn't play well. He remembered the first game he ever played, he fumbled on the goal line. The second game, he come back after he'd been out of training camp. He fumbled on the goal line. People booed him. His little kids had to hear it. And, he said, I did it. I know that. I mean, it was my fault that I didn't play well. But the feeling I had about coming back to Miami, he said, that all came up again. You know what I'm saying? And as an athlete, there's a lasting impression that happens with you. And the people who really understand are the guys on the team. And I think what our seniors have done has built a bond around our team of all the, the times and the tough times. And they've taught those young guys that you have to believe in each other when other people don't, and to keep that camaraderie. And there is a genuine unity and love within this team for each other. One of the most unique that I've ever been around in the 25 years that I've been coaching. And it's very special to see. You can see it. You can feel it when you're around them. You feel it when you coach them. And even when other guys have bad games, you watch our players go to the guys who have those tough times and take the criticisms and take this, and you watch them seal up around them, and you watch those guys they build them right back. Our players build them. Coaches, we do, but those individual players do. They don't point fingers at each other. They genuinely have a love for each other and wanting to accomplish something, and then they accomplish the first championship in a long time, and it's very special to see that. And that's a great point because it is a very unique team, and I feel very close to them because hopefully we can do that in the future and keep those kind of teams, but that doesn't always happen like that. It's a great question.
All the way over here to the right on the outside aisle.
Ira Schofield, Tallahassee Democrat. Jimbo, a lot of times the cornerbacks and defensive backs are kind of measured by fans and media by their numbers. Mm-hmm. Talk about Xavier, and have people not gone at him a lot? I mean, he's how well has he played, even though he hasn't put up big numbers?
Played extremely well, been an all-conference corner, got voted by the coaches. And I think, when the draft comes out, he's going to be a very high draft pick. I mean, he'll go in those top couple rounds. I mean, it's like anything. We measure by numbers, but that goes by opportunities. If you don't have the opportunities, you can't create the numbers. And people, when they have genuine respect for you, they don't throw at you. They don't come at you. And that's hard, and it's hard to create numbers when people aren't giving you the opportunities. But you just keep doing your job and locking down that side of the field over there and doing the things you do. Xavier's an excellent player. He's one of the very unique guys in that he's big and physical, compressed, but he's also can tackle. He can blitz. He can play inside run support. He can play off. I mean, Xavier's a very unique player and a very special player.
Any other questions for Coach Fisher? Go down here in the front row on the right.
DC Reeves, WarChant.com. Jimbo, why do you think that these non-AQ schools have been so successful in BCS games?
Well, I think, why was Butler in the NCAA finals 2 years in a row in basketball? I mean, you develop teams. Teams can come in all shapes and sizes. Now, everybody says they got a chip on their shoulder. No, they just play good football. And there's so many good players out there in football. And there's more kids playing football than ever. And if you look at, and everybody says you want a 6'4", 300-pound lineman. Okay, if a guy's 6'2 and a half, and he's 290 pounds instead of 300, all of a sudden some big boys pass him up. But he's a heck of a, there's a lot of guys in the NFL you look at the NFL and on the rosters, how many non-BCS schools or schools that are at lower conferences are in the league. There's players everywhere, and players get developed, and you get a uniqueness. They've had a great tradition there. They've had great coaches, and those teams come in, and every so often they have those teams that can compete and play at the highest levels. And a team, and they develop confidence. Once they develop confidence from winning, like I say, 21 and 22 games, it makes them very unique. And the confidence in an athlete overcomes a lot of things. To me, confidence is the greatest thing you can have as an athlete. Once confidence comes in, you change. And then all of a sudden confidence comes in your team. Now you have a great team. And those guys have done a great job recruiting, developing players, and they've got good football players. And I think those schools, Utah's, the Boise's, they beat Alabama, West Virginia, not like that, but the coach in his first game, they beat Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl that one year. Out there, Boise beat Oklahoma. Utah beat Alabama. You know what I mean? They do happen. And they can happen. This team, right, it's going to be a dogfight. It's going to be a great football game. And we're going to have to play very well to win it.
Inside aisle near the back.
Jimbo, Pete Thamel from Sports Illustrated.
Mm-hmm.
You haven't really touched on Lynch very much as an offensive guy and just in terms of...
It's amazing to me. How's he practice? He does so much in the game. I don't know he's got the energy to practice all week. The guy runs the ball for 130 yards a game and throws it for 250. Whatever. It's amazing that, what he does and the pounding and the beating. And, he's not an extremely big guy. He's well built, but, he's not a huge guy. And to do the things he does, he's a great competitor. I think he has great instincts for the game. He can throw it. He can run it. He's tough. He's physical. And I think the team takes his personality, the competitiveness in which they play with and how they play with. I always say it takes the personality of your quarterback very often, and it definitely does with him. He is one of the unique guys in college football. It's been fun, actually fun to watch his film. I enjoy watching the film on the other side. I really have. Somebody asked me that. I don't know if he reminds me of anyone. I'm not a guy who likes to compare players because I think everybody's different in their own way. But yeah, a great quarterback. All the great quarterbacks, because they all have one thing. They're all extremely tough. They're extremely competitive. They can throw it. They can run it. And they make the guys around them better. I don't think you're a great player until you make the guys around you better, and he definitely does that. So to me, he categorizes himself as a great player.
All the way to your right in the front row.
Based on his style of play, the way you just defined it, how much pressure does he put on your cornerbacks to have to figure out, okay, run, pass, I got to get up, I got to get back?
Those linebackers, those second-level guys, those safeties, and they run it from all kinds of empty formations, closed formations, different things he does. And you really have to have great eye discipline in your keys to be able to make sure you're making the right reads. There's no doubt now. It's extremely tough.
Now any other questions for Coach Fisher? Coach, thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it. Good luck in the Discover Orange Bowl. As mentioned before, we are going to have Commissioner John Steinbrecher up here at the front of the room for a media session if anyone is interested, coming up in just a few moments.